Hello, my friend. I cannot wait to share this message with you. This is something that I often talk to my clients about. I've taught it in a few different group programs as well, but this is something that comes up all the time as one of my clients' favorite things that they've learned from me, which is super fun. And I've never talked about it on any of my podcasts before. So this is very fun to share with you today. And this is the concept that I call a to-do list versus a to-day list. Because let's face it, how many times have you thought, oh my gosh, I just can't get to the end of my to-do list? And this has become one of these things that I hear so often. And as an accountability coach, it breaks my heart when people feel as though they failed. That is something that I am like on a mission to help people not feel like they failed. And so this is one of those things that when I see it come up, I'm like, well, of course you're not going to get to the end of your freaking to-do list because you're a very ambitious person. So you have a million things on a running list. And so it's actually not the goal to get to the end of it, because if you're an ambitious and driven person, you'll probably always have things on your to-do list. And so that is a beautiful thing. It's something to celebrate, but we do need to combat it, because what we don't want to do, which is what happens, is we feel like we didn't do enough each day. And so that brings me to the exercise that I have all of my clients do, whether they know it or not. Most of them do know because I talk about a to-day list, but a lot of them, even if they're not necessarily making a today list, I'm helping them do it because I'm working with them and saying, okay, these are the few things that you need to focus on this week. And that's what I do as an accountability coach, is help people focus on those specific things that are going to move the needle forward, those specific actions, because our brain is super sneaky. Our brain loves to tell us that everything has to get done and everything is important. And we do this, and I mean, there's some beauty in that of like, because you're a driven person, because you're ambitious, because you have a high work ethic, you want to get a lot done. You want to be very, very productive. And that's wonderful, except it's going to burn you out. And if you haven't been there before, you'll probably get there soon if you just keep running on this hamster wheel. And so what I want to do today is to teach you the lesson of the today list versus the to-do list. So we're going to go from one to the other. So typically speaking, most people have a to-do list. It's a running list. I don't care if it's digital, if it's on a piece of paper, if it's on 75 pieces of paper or Post-its. If you're laughing, that's because I've seen this in many different places. So most of my clients are like, well, I've got this list here and I've got this list here. And so we're feeling very, very scattered. So you're not alone. And it's okay, because we're going to navigate this in a way that makes it much, much easier. So the first thing I want you to do is either consolidate all of these lists and like put it all in front of you so you can see it, or write everything down. So most of the time when I'm working with someone, I just tell them brain dump. I need you to brain dump a list right now onto a Google Doc, a piece of paper, whatever it is, so that you can see what's in your brain. We've got to get it out of your brain and into some type of other document so that we can see what's going on. So you want to start with this brain dump. Get everything down into a list. Now, here's the thing. What I want you to do when you're writing everything down, so like, I need to write this email, I need to clean out my inbox, I need to pick up the kids at school, I need to, like, whatever your list is, this is personal, this is business, this is all the things, because you're trying to get all of it done. So you need to put it into one single list, not personals over here and businesses over here and whatever else. You need to have it on one list. With every action, I want you to estimate the time it will take. Do not overcomplicate this, my friend. Please, 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 please do not overcomplicate this. All you need to do is write down an estimate. I don't want you to overthink this, because then it becomes a bigger project. This does not need to be a big project. What you need to do is write down, okay, I need to write the email for this week. Okay, 1 hour. Now, I hope it doesn't take you an hour to write an email, but sometimes it does, you know? So overestimating is better than underestimating. Maybe you need to meal plan and go to the grocery store. So maybe that's 2 hours. Maybe you need to create that sales page on your website. Do not lie to yourself and tell you that's going to take 1 hour. It's going to take like 4 hours or 7 hours sometimes. A sales page does take a long time. It doesn't always have to, but it often is way longer than we think. So overestimate these things. So for every action, you need a time estimated. You're not going to be perfect at this, but just get some type of time estimation down. So you have an action and a time listed. Then I want you to remember your goal and your 90-day milestone. So the quick version of this, if you have not heard me teach on this, the big goal is the thing you want to do that you don't necessarily know how you're going to do it. So I want to grow my business. I want to start the nonprofit. I want to finish my book, right? Those are big in the future. The 90-day milestone is the thing, the milestone you've set for the next 90 days that's realistic. So you said, okay, if I want to start a nonprofit, then I should probably do some research on this one topic. Or if you want to grow your business, you're probably like, well, maybe the first step is to grow my email list. And so I'm focusing on growing my email list over the next 90 days. Great. So you're looking at, yes, your goal, but very specifically your 90-day milestone. The reason you want to do this is because if you do not have some sort of compass, some sort of filter to run your actions through that are on that today list, and it was a to-do list, right? You will allow those crazy tasks to run your day. And that's what happens. But we need to have more control over what is on our today list. So you have to remember your 90-day milestone. So what I want you to do, you've got a long list, right? It doesn't matter how many things are on it. You have a long list of all the things in your mind that are, this is what's happening. These are the things I need to do. These are the things I need to get done. That's the to-do list with the timestamps of, okay, this is how long I think it'll take. You've remembered your goal, so you've got that in your mind. You remember that milestone. So now you have your filter. And then I want you to identify the items on that list that need to get done this week. Now, you're going to say, Amanda, it's everything. That's not true. That's not true. Think about it in this way. If I don't get this done this week, what happens? If it's, I'll be upset with myself, that's a realistic thing. This is what typically happens with me. I'm like, well, I told myself I'd get it done this week, so I really want to hold true to that. But when I ask myself, well, what will happen if I don't get it done? Like if an emergency came up right now and I could not get that email out this week, would my business go down in flames? Would a client be upset with me? Would I not deliver on something that I promised? These are the questions that I ask myself. Because the reality is we do have emergencies that come up and all of a sudden we get real freaking clear on what can be shoved off. So I want you to think about it like that. What are the things that need to get done? And here's the thing. If you get all of the things done, you can do more. So it gives you that incentive. So I want you to ask yourself, what has to get done this week? Realistically, I want you to circle those things, star those things, somehow identify those things on the list that has to get done this week. This, again, is personal and business, whatever you're working on. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the long list. Now you've remembered the goal and the milestone. Now you're going to circle or star or something, the things that need to get done this week. And then you're going to take it down to today. This is where the magic happens. So you're taking that big list and now you're getting to the today list. Then I want you to look at and highlight or somehow identify. You don't have to highlight, but the highlight's the one I would do. The actions that need to get done today. The things that need to get done today so that you can feel as though you did enough today. This should be about 1 to 3 things. And I know you're going to be like, Amanda, that is not enough. But it is. If you do needle moving actions towards your goal, you will get there. If you just keep yourself busy all day, you will be busy, but you won't be productive. You won't feel like you did enough. So often I work with clients and I hear this all the time. They'll be like, Amanda, I didn't do enough. I'm so sorry I didn't do enough, or however they say that. Usually it's like, oh, I didn't have enough time this week. And then I look at their list and I'll say, whoever it is, You did everything on the list. We had 3 things that you needed to get done, that you identified, that we identified in our last call, and you did them all. Why don't you feel like you did enough? And that's when it comes back to the to-do list versus today list. And I really want you to remember this, because when that feeling of not enough, not doing enough, will plague you forever. And I say this because it plagues me when I don't catch this. This is why I have to use a project management tool, so that I don't see the whole list. I only see what's on today. But for right now, you don't have to worry about a tool. You just need to use a freaking piece of paper or a Google Doc or a spreadsheet or whatever works for you. Because that's the thing, that I don't want you to learn a new piece of technology in order to implement this. That is an excuse to not do this. Learning a new piece of technology is not going to help you actually do this. You need to do this with a piece of paper or something you know how to use, and then you can take it to a fun tool. I promise. I'll give you the tool, but you got to do this first. And so then you'll have the today list. And that is what I want you to think about. The 1 to 3 things that will get you closer to your ultimate goal and the important things that you got to do in your life. So one of my clients, her filter is health. So nothing gets on her list unless it is taking care of her physical, mental, and spiritual health. Because and I say this, things get on her list all the time. I just happen to catch them. We're working together and it's like, is that going to help you? Is creating Instagram Reels really going to help you right now? Probably not. Okay, let's figure out. That's a nice to have. How about you do these other things? And once you have sufficient rest, when you're feeling like you have high energy, sure, create that reel. But let's not focus on putting that on your list, because now you're thinking that you need to get this Instagram reel done, but that's not her filter. Her filter is taking care of herself, because when she takes care of herself, her business does well, her family does well. And she's identified this, and so she made that her filter. And so we run everything through this, and so her to-do list becomes the today list, and rest is always on there. And so I want to give you that permission. It doesn't matter what's on your list. It just matters that it's getting you to the goal that you want and the feeling that you want as you're pursuing that goal. And I just want to remind you, this is not going to work 100% of the time. Okay? We just need to go into it knowing that you're going to do this, and then you're going to think, oh, well, that didn't work out today. Don't just throw up your hands and be like, oh, that didn't work for me. Of course it's not going to work on day 1, my friend. Of course it's not. It's a new thing you're trying. So here's what you got to do. You need to do this today, and then I want you to do this for the rest of the week. Whatever day you're listening to this, I want you to create your big list, create the today list from that. And then tomorrow, the next day, do this for the week. And then I want you to figure out what day of the week is most helpful for you to repeat this process. For me, it is Sunday. I know some people do not want to work on Sundays, and that is totally fine. You do you. I love having my Sunday work time. For 1 hour each Sunday, I sit in my office, I plan out the whole week. And I know exactly what is on each and every day for that week. And once that happens, that hour on Sunday, I do not, I shouldn't say I do not. I try really hard to not add anything to the calendar after that time. So let's say I sit down at Sunday at 10 a.m. and I get my today list done for each day of the week. At that point, if someone reaches out to me and says, Amanda, I have some time on Wednesday, can I meet with you? The answer is no. We can look at the following week though, because I've already planned my entire week, not just meetings, but also action items that I need to get done. And I've based that on how many meetings I have or don't have. And so I've planned out my whole week. So if I throw something in the middle, it throws me off. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It absolutely does. But I try really hard for it not to happen so that I can be in a rhythm of, I know Tuesday's going to be a really packed day, but Wednesday's lighter. So that's going to be a little bit easier for me. Okay, Thursday's a great day. I got some focused work time. I have no meetings or whatever it is. I know what each and every day looks like, but when you throw it off, which it happens, but if you can control not throwing it off, it's remarkable. Life is going to throw us curveballs. It happens. But when you can take control of what is on your list today, then you can feel as though you did enough. And another little bonus tip I have for you is that at the end of the day, before you shut down, however it looks for you, maybe it's not even the end of the day, it's like the end of your work time. I want you to have a moment where you say, I did enough. I focused my time on the needle moving actions so that I could get one step closer to my goal today. And that's what I did. Now I can be present for the rest of my day with the people, with myself, with whatever else you're doing. That is super helpful. When you can do that, it makes a world of a difference, because when you tell yourself I did enough, you won't be thinking, oh, I should have done more. I should have squeezed that in. And again, this doesn't work every single day perfectly, but just remember that you can find what works for you and find that rhythm. So I want you to do this today. Your accountable action is to go through this exercise. Go from a to-do list to a to-day list, and do this for every day of the rest of the week. I know it's about to take you a few minutes to do this. Like, I'm not saying it's immediate. It's worth the time. Because if you can get to the end of today knowing that you did enough, how amazing would that feel? And it's possible. You can do this right now just by yourself in the next 15 minutes. You can absolutely do this if you choose to do it. And that's the thing. They say knowledge is power, but it's not. Applied knowledge is power. So it's time for you to take this idea, to take this exercise and actually do it in your life and in your business today. So I hope you enjoy this exercise. And if you ever need support with this, you know where to find me. All you have to do is go to amandamckinney.com/work with me and see the ways that we can work together. But until next time, keep being accountable, and I'll see you soon.